chapter 1 and the final part of part 1, so 1.3. Please give us a like, subscribe, share, and comment. I present my exam to apply for the faculty or of political sciences in the Mexican Autonomous National University, UNAM. The reader is speaking. The UNAM is the most important university in Mexico, and is one of the best in the world, and it's one of the best in all Latin America. The reader, it's from UNAM. It's very proud of. I go back. I was hoping, I was hoping the support of the federal government that give us or used to give us the home, the food into the house of the student. We used to be 80 young people, young guys. The majority of us, we used to be poor, and we used to study in different careers into the UNAM and into the Instituto Politécnico Nacional, the National Polytechnical Institute. The reader is talking again, and I may tell you that it's also one of the best universities, but this is for technicians. Yeah, well, not really. It's more like engineering, and IPN has also, so this polytechnical um, university, it is, or institute, it they also have doctors and nurses, and but mostly is for engineering and sciences. They don't have, like, for example, in UNAM, I studied I am sorry, I'm translating in my mind. I studied literature and linguistics. So yeah, we that's the difference in between, but both are the most important universities, perhaps in all Latin America by now. Um, in this house, or that house, was really important for me to be formed. After living in the student's house, I start living with other colleagues in the neighborhood of Copilco el Alto, in a room of vecindad. The reader is speaking. The vecindad is like a very small building with a yard inside, um, or a patio inside, and has like the rooms around that patio or that yard. And the rooms used to be very small. It used to be a very poor place. N- Not anymore, because there are some vecindades now that are very nice and even expensive, but in those days it was a very, very poor place. I will never forget Gloria, who is already, or who rests in peace. She's already dead. She used to have in at her patio um of her house is some tables, and she used to sell some food. When I weren't able to go because I was in a very huge debt with her, she used to say to um, the other colleagues that I used to live with, tell that skinny guy to come to eat. So I finished the school as a miracle, because I really never had any support from my family, because they were really struggling in a very difficult economical situation, because of this broke on my parents' business. It was very sad. One day, my mom came to spy me to the university, because she was not believing that I was really studying. I was into a class and suddenly I turned my head and I see over the window, and there she was. It was my mother. She was watching me with her beautiful black eyes. I just run out like immediately, and I was really ashamed. Everybody was going to laugh of me. So I walk over her uh, on the yard and I really hug her with all my soul. In the political sciences faculty, I learned the basics to fight for my humanist ideals. During the first semester of that career, I really had to confront the most terrible part of the military hit in Chile. The reader is speaking. I don't know how to translate this. Is when the military, the army of a country, takes the government by their own. And usually it's very violent and it is very like oppressive, usually. I don't know how to call it. In Spanish, we say military hit in Chile. The teacher of the political sciences subject, he proposed an analysis of this Chilean process. His name was Raúl Olmedo, a very good Marxist teacher. And yes, the reader is speaking. I said Marxist. Marx is not a devil, as America government is making you think. He was just an economist, and in the faculty of economy, you have to read Marx because Karl Marx it's an economist who is he writes about a different way of economy supported in people and not in numbers. And if you don't know anything about him, you should read something about him. You will not become a communist just to read Marx. Perhaps you will, but that will not be Marx's fault. The reader will keep on the reading. In this lesson, we checked the text The Revolution and the State from Lenin. And with this theoretical frame, we start facing the terrible possibility of um, a state hit that really happened on September 11 of 1973. I really got impacted about this. The Chilean president, Salvador Allende, who is the foreigner that I admire the most and who really generate on me uh, deep feelings. He was a humanist, a very good man. He was the victim of the worst people in the world. This is why when uh, we had the 50th anniversary of his death on September 11, I went to Santiago de Chile because I was full of feelings in between this actual president. It was my friend Gabriel Boric. In my times in during the university in Mexico, we had a lot of movements of meetings for the justice and the free, as the well known as democratic tendency of the power workers. against the charrismo. The reader is speaking again. Charrismo. Okay, we have the charro, the charro, that is this guy with a hat and some pistols, and he sings beautiful and whatever. We have that, the charro, and we admire charros a lot, and it's very good thing. But the syndical charros, that is the charrismo, are those members of a syndicate, a workers syndicate, that are just there to break up the community. Perhaps you know about this because you in the United States used to have a very, very beautiful culture of syndicalism, and it's just going down, deep down, and now you barely have some kind of law there. And it's kind of same. Perhaps you are suffering exactly the same, that the charro sindical, it's the guy who is always fighting against the the things that the people wants, and they get money to break the community into a syndicate. So, well, if let me know if you want to know more about this. So I will read back. In my university days, we had in Mexico a lot of movements or meetings for the justice and freedom. One of it was the democracy tendency that the workers, the power workers, did against the charrismo, the syndical charrismo, that was headed by Rafael Galvan. I participated as a student, and I were in many meetings, protest meetings. Now the time has gone, and just a few ago, when we inaugurate the first phase of the Puerto Peñasco uh, power plant, photovoltaic plant in Sonora, that was going to be the biggest in America, I proposed them to the syndicate leaders of the power company. In The reader is again speaking. I'm so sorry. This is very difficult because you have to know that we just have one power company in Mexico. We don't have many. We just have one. Is the CFE, and the CFE give power to all Mexico. We barely have outbreaks. Perhaps you will hear some coletos saying, or some whitexicans who says that yes, we have outbreaks all the day. No, that's not true. We have some, as everywhere else. But when I went to the United States, I was petrified because of your power companies are like, wow. I mean, we used to blame CFE, but after being in the United States, my God, you pay a fortune, and really you have a very, very, very horrible power companies. We don't. We just have one, and it's an estate the company. So this company doesn't need to get money. They just need to, I mean, we pay for the power, but we pay a very, very small amount. And I mean, nothing compared with you there in the United States. We pay like just a part of what we should, so the company just goes on. It's not generating like profits. Doesn't need to, because it's our company. I mean, all the people's company. So as is all the people's company, the goal is to give us power. We have power. We barely have uh, outreach, and the outreach that we have are like 2 minutes, 3 minutes. It's nothing terrible. Sometimes if we have like a hurricane or very bad weather, or if we have like something that happens, they fix it pretty quick, like in 1 day or 2 days, just in a catastrophe. But if everything is happening just like normal, we used to have one outrage like in, I don't know, in a month. And it's like 2 or 3 minutes or so. Well, being said that, what the president AMLO is saying here is that he was like opening a photovoltaic plant in Sonora, and he talked with the power workers syndicate, and the general director of the Federal Electricity Commission, the CFE, that I am talking about this, that the central may take the name, or this uh, power plant may have the name of this exemplar or very good leader that was Rafael Galvan. I hope this part is well understood. Let me know. Sometimes it's very difficult to, the reader is speaking again. Sometimes it's really difficult to have this um, translation, side translation, because there are too many things that I know that you don't know. So if I just read it, you will just be like completely lost. So, but in Latin America, there were other um, putsch or coup d'etat. Not also the Chilean one. And UNAM and other universities, they got like they support many exiliated people from there. I had a lot of professors from Chile, Bolivia, Haiti, Uruguay, and Argentina. I also had very good teachers in Mexico, or Mexican teachers too. It was very interesting time for social sciences, but also very painful for Latin America because of all dictatorships and the suffering that this produce to the people. On the same time, it was a very reflection time and a lot of analysis time, something that is not happening right now. The social sciences are really, um, really turned off, or really low right now, on at their low side right now. I never thought the violent way as an option, never. But I used to admire it because it was like pushed by the idealism. How I cannot respect, for example, to the bush hawkers like Lucio Cabañas and Genaro Vázquez. How couldn't I admire the idealism and the congruency of El Che Guevara? I feel a profound respect for those who opt for this way, but I don't share it because it is an alternative that produces a lot of pain and suffering, and gives the money people the excuse of the power and to apply their strengths to suppress and to um, push the people, yes, the people. So I believe that we shouldn't give up on the peace way, the Pacific, well, the peace way or the way of peace. And I am saying this even when during the 60s and the 70s the guerrilla was very attractive. I don't want to use the expression it was on the fashion because may it be feel like something bad. But the fact is that it was an option that everybody thought it was the right way. In Mexico, there were too many organizations that got in or that took the guns, um, and that was one of the consequences of the brutal repression that the student movement had in 1968. Talking about President Allende, in a speech that he said during his visit to Mexico in Guadalajara, he said, "To be young and not to be revolutionary, it is even a biological contradiction. But to be revolutionary is not necessarily to take the guns as a way." He himself uh, never transit to that way, even when too many used to think that it was going to be the only way to keep the presidency and to avoid him to be murdered. He was a pacifist. This is the reason why the assault to the Moneda Palace and the death of Allende was a horrible crime. The people who opt for the army fight or the violent way in a revolution, they know that this is something about to hit or to be hidden. But those who never uh, use the violence and not even for their people, not even for anyone, and that they see with a lot of respect and with a very deep love even their adversaries, they do not deserve to die that way. The betrayal of Augusto Pinochet, it was horrible. It is an unforgettable uh, spot in the world history. I always talk about my complete repudie to the fascism and the one that hit Chile and all America Latina and all Latin America in those days. And very with a lot of indignation and pain, I heard about this uh, in the radio. I heard about the coup d'etat in Chile, and that same day in a blackboard that it was at the main uh, patio in the student's house. I was with Herbert Sanchez, one of my colleagues from the economy career in the Politecnico. We wrote a manifest of protest, and I will never forget it. In those days, as a student, I also it also happened the hit or the coup d'etat to the Excelsior journal. It was the 8th of July of 1976, and the president in those days, Luis Echeverria, he decided to quiet this journal, uh, that it used to be independent and that he used to be directed by with a lot of dignity by Julio Scherer Garcia. I will never forget that Miguel Ángel Granados Chapa, Froilán López Narváez, and Herberto Castillo were went to the auditorium of the UNAM Faculty of Sciences to expose what happened. And from there and now, uh, every time that we had a meeting, every time that we pass over Bucareli and Reforma, where the Excelsior journalist is has its building, we used to sing or to yell the consign "Stolen journalists," prensa vendida. That means like, yeah, the those journalists who get paid to say lies and to say fake news, like too many that we know. Well, thank you for listening. I promise to be better next and to keep practicing so I can give you more than what I just gave. I know that I can do it better. So please keep listening to us and subscribe, give us a like, comment, and share. And at the last, I would like to, I mean, by to finish, I would like to tell you something that it's important. In the 60s and the 70s, some people in Mexico, we used to think that the socialism and the communism was going to be the way to free humanity from the capitalism apocalypse that we are still facing. Let's be honest, the world it's really coming down completely. But now we are facing that most of those countries that achieve the communism as a politic way, as a government, they are not doing it well, you know. And I'm sorry to say this because I know that there are many people supporting those places, but I can't. I'm sorry. It is not working. It's just not good, not fine. And I guess I am guessing, I think that I find why. And the reason why is that communism and socialism as a government, um, it is asking the people to act like ants, you know, just act for the colony and forget everything about yourself and your individuality. And that doesn't work. And in the opposite, it is the capitalism asking you to forget everything about community and you act for yourself and be successful no matter what. So neither any of them works. And we have here in Mexico this awesome thing that is happening, that we have the fourth transformation that started the Mexican humanism. And this book is about that. The Mexican humanism, it is not only made for peace by love, but also thinking that we are individuals, very precious and important, each of us with all our differences, very diverse, all different, but very important as individuals. And we want to keep it that way, but we are going to have the community helping us to be the best of us and to feel successful, to feel satisfied, to feel happy, so we can give all these beautiful thing that each of us has inside of our individuality, and we are going to give it to the community back. So it is more like that. Okay, so I just want to tell you about this, and thank you. Please subscribe and give us a like.